For nearly 2 years, Israel's war against Hezbollah has been driven by one assumption: that Washington would continue backing Jerusalem's campaign against the Iran-backed group. But that assumption is now being questioned. Just days before the NATO summit in Ankara, Donald Trump has publicly criticized Israel's operations in Lebanon, suggested Syria, not Israel, should deal with Hezbollah, while Benjamin Netanyahu has issued an unusually direct warning against Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan. Together, these developments raise a much bigger question. Is Washington quietly reshaping the Middle East security architecture? And where does Israel fit into America's evolving regional strategy?
A genocide took place in Gaza. The attacks are still continuing. This genocide will undoubtedly be held accountable. It will be held accountable. It will be held accountable. We cannot ignore this. God willing, it is this movement that will demand accountability for this genocide.
Erdoğan's speech once again placed Israel at the center of his criticism. But the timing is significant. At almost the same moment, Donald Trump was publicly distancing himself from Israel's military strategy in Lebanon. Speaking on the sidelines of the G7 summit, Trump said too many civilians were being killed and questioned whether Israel's campaign against Hezbollah was achieving its objectives. Then came an extraordinary suggestion that Syria, not Israel, should take on Hezbollah.
I'll tell you what, Israel's fighting Hezbollah too long and too many people are being killed. And you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody, because there are a lot of people in those apartment houses, and they're not all Hezbollah, that I can tell you. And I suggested to Israel to let Syria take care of Hezbollah. Because to be honest with you, I think they do a better job of doing it.
Trump's remarks have sent shockwaves across the region. Syria's President Ahmad al-Sharaa insists Damascus has no intention of fighting Hezbollah and says the proposal was misunderstood. Yet Washington has not walked back the idea. Instead, the Trump administration appears increasingly willing to engage Syria's new leadership. That matters because today's Syria is backed by Turkey, Israel's most outspoken regional critic. For Jerusalem, this is no longer just about Hezbollah. It is about the emergence of a new regional equation in which Turkey, Syria, and the United States are becoming increasingly intertwined. Israel responded swiftly. During a cabinet meeting, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned that Erdoğan's rhetoric was no longer being dismissed as political posturing. Instead, he indicated Israel would raise the issue directly with Washington, placing Turkey's president firmly on America's radar ahead of the NATO summit.
Hardly a day goes by without Erdogan calling for the destruction of the State of Israel. We take those words very seriously. We will also draw the attention of our American friends to these remarks. We are not ignoring them.
Netanyahu's warning reflects a much deeper concern inside Israel. Since the fall of Bashar al-Assad, Turkey has emerged as one of the most influential players in Syria. Ankara is backing the new government in Damascus, while Israel has expanded its military footprint along Syria's southern frontier. Israeli security officials have reportedly held high-level discussions focused specifically on Turkey's growing influence inside Syria. What was once a campaign against Hezbollah is rapidly evolving into a broader strategic competition over who shapes Israel's northern neighborhood.
We stood by our Palestinian brothers against Israel's state terrorism. Whenever we could go ourselves, we went. When we could not, our families went. Our diplomats went. Our institutions went. We stood with the oppressed wherever they needed us.
This is why Syria has become the center of the story. For decades, Israel viewed Damascus as part of the Iranian axis. Today, Washington is openly discussing Syria as a possible partner in containing Hezbollah. Turkey is supporting Syria's new leadership. Israel deeply distrusts it, and the United States is engaging with both. That represents one of the most significant strategic shifts in the Middle East since Assad's fall. And it is unfolding just as NATO leaders prepare to gather in Ankara.
There is a growing fear of a confrontation between Israel and Turkey. How are you going to ease this tension given the fact that President Erdogan calls Mr. Netanyahu Hitler, compares Israel to the Nazis?
Well, I know President Erdogan very well, and as you all know, he's a very good friend of mine. And I believe that, and I do respect him, and Bibi respects him, and they're not going to have a problem. They're not going to have a problem. I know him very well. And you've seen me do things with President Erdogan and Turkey that nobody else could have done. We're not going to have a problem. He's done a fantastic job. I'm with him all the way. I'm with Bibi all the way. Nothing's going to happen.
Whether these are isolated developments or the beginning of a broader geopolitical reset will become clearer in the days ahead. But one thing is already evident. America's Middle East policy is entering a new phase. Syria is no longer just a battlefield. Turkey is no longer simply another NATO ally. And Israel is confronting a rapidly changing strategic landscape in which Washington appears willing to explore new regional partnerships while asking difficult questions about old assumptions. That shift is now becoming even more visible. The White House has confirmed that President Donald Trump will meet Syrian President Ahmad al-Sharaa, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky during the NATO Summit in Ankara. The meeting with Syria's new leader comes just days after Trump suggested Damascus, not Israel, should confront Hezbollah, making the summit a crucial test of Washington's evolving strategy towards Syria, Turkey, and Israel. The outcome of those meetings could offer the clearest indication yet of where America's Middle East policy is headed next.